Now, I can't believe I'm about to say this after all the 8 Passengers videos I've made, but I think something good came from this. Now, before we get into the very shocking news, let's just give you a bit of a brief rundown what's happened over the past, couple weeks and then previously a few years ago. So a few years ago, I was introduced to a channel called 8 Passengers, which was a family channel. I was already pretty against family channels because having your content solely around your kids and filming them every single day when they're not even old enough to really understand what is happening, it just seemed a bit weird to me. But this channel in particular took it to a whole new level because they weren't just filming their kids, they were also filming their very, very questionable parental skills. For example, they took one of their kids' beds away for 7 months because he played a prank on his brother, meaning he was sleeping on the floor for 7 months. There's also multiple clips of the mother, Ruby Frank, talking to her daughter's teachers on the phone because the teachers are worried that the daughter doesn't have any food for that day because they forgot to pack their lunch, and Ruby is basically like, well, if she forgot, she's gonna have to starve. Then there was a whole situation at Christmas where they spoke about how 2 of their youngest kids weren't gonna get presents at Christmas, and instead we're gonna have to watch the other kids open presents because they had been misbehaving. And this is only the bare minimum that I've mentioned here. I've made many videos on 8 Passengers in the past, so if you want to see even more stuff, there's plenty of videos there. But then we look back to the last few weeks, we found out that Ruby Frank and her friend Jodie Hildebrandt had actually started a Facebook group called Mums of Truth. Now this is like a parental advice Facebook page, which already is slightly worrying because, you know, the advice is coming from Ruby Frank. I ended up making a fake Facebook account and I joined the group to see exactly what advice was being given, and my god, it was worse than I could have ever imagined. Now in the comments of this video, someone actually posted a very good question and said, you specifically said when a person decides to be sexual. What about when a person is forced into sexual acts and creates a child? Is that different? To which Ruby actually responded to this question and said, you were looking for exceptions. You cannot learn remainders in division before understanding the principle of multiplication and division, and you cannot understand outliers in a graph before first understanding the standard. Jodie is speaking of the principle of choice and accountability. There are no exceptions to principles ever. Are there principles of truth that support abortion? Is abortion based on principles of truth? No. Abortion is not a broad topic. It is a singular choice made by an individual, and it immediately affects 2 souls. It kills one spiritually, the mother, and physically the other, the baby. It's very LeBrand family, isn't it? And then after getting kicked from that group, I decided to do more research and found out that Jodie Hildebrandt had been on probation for 18 months, nearly had her counselling license taken off her because she lied about a client. And then we also found multiple comments and posts from Ruby's family talking about how this Connexions page, the Mums of Truth Facebook page, has actually ruined their whole family. And that brings us to the present, and I think it's fair to say, not exactly the biggest fan of 8 Passengers. But you can imagine my shock when I found out that the 8 Passengers Instagram account had also been changed to the now Mums of Truth Instagram account. Yeah, this was the official 8 Passengers Instagram account where they just posted pictures of their family. It had over 400,000 followers before she made this change. But if you now look at their most recent posts, it's the type of stuff that they would post on their Connexions YouTube channel or the Mums of Truth Facebook account. You know, the whole principles thing that Ruby and Jodie keep going on about, which basically means that you're not actually allowed to be who you want to be. It's a very cute way of saying that you should love your kids unless they're gay or transgender. But with this change, Ruby actually posted a fairly long Instagram story talking about said change, and actually goes on to talk about how she is quitting the family vlogs.
So a lot of you are going, wait a minute, I thought this is 8 Passengers. How come the name changed? So I wanted to get on and just make a little update, a little video for you. I have spent the last 2 years really thinking about what I wanted to do, the direction I wanted to take with my social media.
Look, I've got to be honest, Ruby, I'm all for change, but you could have picked something a little bit better to change to, couldn't you? Like a parental advice page where you basically just spread hate to children. Like, fucking hell, surely there's better options.
I have made my content around my children for years, and my children are getting older. Sherry has already flown the coop and Chad is closely behind her.
Well, at least Ruby isn't 100% delusional, I guess, because she does seem to realise that her content does solely rely around her kids, and if it was just about her and her husband, no one would watch. And with that now being something that Ruby seems to admit herself, surely that's a bit weird. Like, your children were basically employees as soon as they were born. Like, they had to be in the content every single day, and that's how you earned your money. Like, I don't know, there's just something not right with it in my opinion.
In a handful of years, all of my children will be gone. And I have a real powerful message.
Powerful's definitely a word for it. Maybe not one that I would use personally, but we'll go with it.
And I started my vlog because I love mothers. I started the hashtag Mothers Are Powerful many years ago.
Is that the reason though? Because I do believe that the fact that you've probably made millions of ad revenue alone from that channel might have something to do with it, but I could be wrong.
Every year, I mean, just like most moms out there, I have grown in wisdom, I've learned, I have shifted and changed, and I have so much to offer other moms.
So when are we going to see them changes then? Yeah, I guess there's changes because you're no longer doing the vlogs, but fucking hell, the new stuff isn't exactly good. Like before, you used to actually physically show on video your very questionable parental choices, but now you just kind of talk about it on videos and tell other parents to do the same. Like, all I'm saying is you can't make this big speech about how you've learned from your mistakes and you've changed as a person when just a couple weeks ago you were posting on Facebook about how when people commit suicide, it's their choice and they've chose not to escape the pain. Like, that doesn't sound like someone who's changed to me, okay? In fact, that's very, very worrying advice to give people.
It is time for me to switch how I do this and to do it inside of principles. That's something I could do this until I'm 100. As long as I can type on a phone, I can continue making content.
Please don't. Not this type of content anyways. Like, that is a lot of years of bad advice, okay? That could have a really bad impact.
I just cannot make content around children.
Fucking hell. Took long enough. In all seriousness, this is very good news that children are going to be able to live a life off camera now, and when they're old enough to choose they want to be on camera, they can obviously make that choice. It'll be completely up to them. So it is good news. I just wish it didn't mean that she was just going to move on to something that is also very damaging, but here we are.
Now, I am very aware of people online who hate me, who would like to cancel me, who would like to see me either burn in hell, as I have been told.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far personally. Like, that's a very hateful thing to say to a person, you know, like burn in hell. Like, I would never say that. It would almost be as hateful as, I don't know, like posting a Facebook video in response to a mother and telling them that because their child is gay, it means that they're distorting and they may as well be doing illegal activities like doing drugs, and Ruby personally wouldn't want her children around the gay children because it might change her children. Like, that would be hateful as well. Wouldn't it? Like, honestly, I'm not saying that people should be saying this horrible stuff to Ruby. All I'm saying is that Ruby has also said some very shocking things in her past, so playing the victim in this situation just isn't it for me.
Disappear off the face of the earth, and I'm not going anywhere.
Fuck!
Being a mother of 6 children for 20 years teaches a woman a lot.
Does it? Really? So when do we see proof of that? I'm joking, fucking hell.
I have been very aware of what has made our family sick, and I am also very aware of what has brought healing, and in the last 2 years we've had a lot of healing, and that is what I want to share.
I mean, that's a very weird way of describing it when you bear in mind the fact that Ruby no longer speaks to any of her siblings and her children no longer speak to any of their cousins. Like, if you've seen it in my previous videos, you would be aware that Ruby's siblings and the rest of the family all still speak to each other, but none of them speak to Ruby or Kevin, and that is because, and they've even said it publicly, it's because they feel like Ruby and Kevin have been tearing apart the family with this whole Connexions page and the Mums of Truth Facebook page where they're just spreading horrible, horrible advice. So to say your family's been doing a lot of healing recently when you're in a position where you're not speaking to any of the rest of your family is a very weird way of going about it, but whatever.
To you, I hope you stay around and learn, maybe invite your friends and family and let them know this is going to be an educational channel, an educational avenue, a modality.
Hello, Mum? Yeah? Sorry, Ruby's just told me that I need to tell my family members about the Facebook page. Just want to put it out there, please don't join. I like my bed.
Very many people have accused me of exploiting my children, and then those very people have turned around and exploited my children.
Oh, she's firing shots. I don't know, I feel like it's very different levels, isn't it? You know, like on one hand, you're making videos talking about how you're not giving your children food for school, and you're taking their bed away for 7 months, sending them to behavioural wilderness camps, all this stuff so they don't deserve privacy, making videos talking about how your children shouldn't be gay or transgender or anything like that. And on the other hand, people are telling you that's bad and saying you shouldn't do that. So, I know which one I'd rather be.
And so I am not going to share my children or family with the world anymore in that way.
I mean, that's a success, right? I mean, like I said, I wish the replacement wasn't the Mums of Truth Facebook group, because that is very damaging also, but, I mean, I'm happy for the kids at least.
I'm going to be podcasting, sharing stories.
Podcasting? Fucking hell. Imagine listening to Ruby for an hour and a half at a time. Drive me insane. But either way, that is Ruby announcing her retirement of the 8 Passengers YouTube channel, I'm guessing. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it gets changed to the Mums of Truth YouTube channel, I'm probably assuming. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on everything we spoke about in today's video, and I'm probably gonna leave it there. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and if you want to let me know topics to talk about in future videos, the best way to do that on my Instagram. It's at MARKIE. It's how I even found out about what we spoke about today. It was on my DMs. So many people told me to talk about this. So that's the best way to let me know in the future. And I guess until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.